Hello Smegheads, it's Jess here. Hope you're well, and today we're going to be painting up an Orlock Ganger from Necromunda. This is one of the 90s models. As you can see, it's very old school, and I have put it onto one of the modern Necromunda plastic bases, the nice molded bases. And we're going to be painting this in the colour scheme of the Canaries. Now the Canaries were from Red Dwarf Series 8. They're basically kind of like the vanguard that go in before any main kind of important crew go into any situation they come across. They're kind of like literally the canary in their mind. So if anything's horrible and deadly down on whatever planet or derelict they decide to go into, they're the ones who basically will snuff it, and the important members of the crew, like the captain and whatever, they don't get themselves into any kind of mischief. So yeah, it's a very smeggy job. No one really wants to do it, but our main characters in Red Dwarf got roped into this one quite unexpectedly, shall we say, while they were in the brig. Oh, and I'll just interject here and say that if you are painting a model on a painting handle, please make sure the model is attached to the painting handle properly. But yeah, we're going to have a little go at doing this scheme here, so yeah, let's get on with it. I'll show you the appropriate paints as I get there. I'll put up some notes on the screen here and there, and then I'll come back and have a little chat to you quickly at the end as well. But other than that, I'll let the music kind of do most of the work, because I don't really know what else to say for the next 10 minutes or so. So yeah, enjoy, and I'll see you in 10 minutes. Well, I say 10 minutes, I don't mean 10 minutes. I'll interject here and there with a few extra voice samples, you know. I'll come in and explain what I'm doing. I'm not going to just leave you in the lurch and have to guess everything. So, yeah, listen out for me, because I will turn up here and there. And I don't know why I'm saying this, really, but hey-ho. First time I'm doing one of these videos that's like actually a video, so yeah. You know, actually, there's a few points when making this video that I did lose confidence, whether it was like not being confident in my painting abilities or my video making abilities. And, you know, I did actually have to battle through a little bit to make this, because I really wanted to kind of get back into YouTube, but it is hard, especially when you don't really know what you're doing and you're doing everything yourself. It can be tricky and a bit of a mental barrier to make yourself finish. So I am quite proud of myself for actually finishing this video. Yeah, sorry for going off topic. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Do. Let's bung a nice bit of Reichland flesh shade all over the skin, and we'll also use it on a little bit of the yellow as well, just to kind of shade some of those recesses on the yellow, just a tad, you know, just bring a bit of that warmth back. I noticed that the gun actually has like a little combat knife attached to the side of it, so I go in and I just do a little bit of work on that as well, and we'll also paint some of that gold later on. Although we are going to cheat, we're going to use Nastreg yellow over silver to make any golds on this one, rather than using a specific gold paint. So after the first round of yellow and the highlights that were with a pure Wravebone, It does kind of desaturate it quite a lot, so I go over it with Imperial Fist, which kind of ties all the yellowy colours together, raises those highlights into just a kind of nice bright yellow, and it also helps to just brighten up some of the recessed yellow areas as well, where they kind of like the Nazdrake yellow finished quite brownish or browny orange, so that it kind of nicely raises that up. And then we go back in by mixing some of that Imperial Fist in with Wravebone gradually to do more highlights, and adding a little bit more Wravebone for each extra highlight, as you're going to see. Just going to use this little bit as a shameless kind of plug. I am actually a commissioned painter, so I do specialise in tabletop level, as you can no doubt tell. I'm not a heavy metal painter by any means, but yeah, I do commissions for models, and I've got fairly happy clients, I'd like to think. You can check out my Instagram at JewelKnightJess if you want to see some of the commission work I've done, as well as lots of my own. If anyone watching doesn't want to paint their models but does want to kind of have me paint some for you, then please do throw me a DM on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. You can find me at JKJ Mini Painting there. And yeah, I'd love to do you a nice little quote. I'm not going to redo this take. Yeah, I'd love to do a little kind of quote, and yeah, maybe I can paint some models for you. Stay tuned to the end of this video to see what kind of like my finished work looks like, because obviously this is kind of like the ugly stage. It doesn't look good at this point. Nothing ever looks good at this early stage. So something I do like to use on my skin tones is Carroburg Crimson, just to kind of glaze over shoulders and elbows, hands, things like that, and facial details. It gives a nice variation to the skin tone, stops it all looking so flat, makes it look like it's quite alive and there's some blood flowing through there. So that's something I like to do, so you can just about see me doing that here. Oh yeah, it was around this point I realised that the thing around his neck was probably a pair of dog tags. I had trouble identifying it, so I painted those silver and just did a quick non-oil wash on them, just so, you know, to hint at them being dog tags. I couldn't really tell, to be honest, looking at them. I'm assuming they're dog tags. Even now, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I thought I'd leave this bit in the video. This is where I was going to try and paint the eyes on camera, but where the camera is and the angle I'd have to paint at, I was never going to be able to actually like do the eyes that way. So I did end up doing those off camera. I kind of held it a little bit closer to my face and steadied my hands really tightly against the table so I wouldn't get as much shake. Yeah, eyes are really hard to do, especially if you're doing it at an unusual angle. I think I just about made them vaguely passable. So this first highlight with Mechanica Standard Grey is kind of like a big chunky edge highlight, and then I'm going to do like a lighter edge highlight within, so that's why that looks a little bit thick. It's not me being thick, although it kind of also is, but yeah, it's mostly that it's deliberately thick so I can fit a smaller edge highlight within the big edge highlight, even though some of them aren't even on the edges. You know what I mean, I think. So at this point I decided that the loincloth shouldn't actually be yellow, it should actually be a different colour. So here you'll see me paint it red just by changing it up with a contrast paint, but then I do indeed actually change my mind again and go over and just do it black so it actually matches the Canaries theme, because the red doesn't quite go for me. So that's the last kind of little change that I'm going to make here. For the base, which I actually painted silver earlier and did a normal oil wash for, I'm just going to go over it with some thinned out scrag brown and a bit of orange, just to kind of give that nice little rust effect. So I'm just going to quickly do that as well. And here he is, the base is almost dry, and I've given him a matte varnish over the top as well, using Ultra Matte Lucky Varnish from Ammo. Really good varnish, gives you a lovely flat colour that doesn't kind of catch the light too much, so I really recommend that. And yeah, on to the kind of the final reveal, I suppose. So here he is in a nice environment, as in a background and a random Necromunda tile. I could have dug out my stronghold, I suppose, and actually like done a nice little setting for them to stand in, but yeah, I didn't, did I? So, you know, make of that what you will. Anyway, I hope you like how it came out. If you do want to replicate this scheme, feel free. If you want to use it on any other models, it doesn't have to be on Orlocks. Hopefully you might have picked up some good tips on just a nice way to do yellow. Maybe. There's a lot of ways to do yellow these days. It's definitely an easier colour to paint than it used to be, thanks to contrast paints. And yeah, now that this chap's with his friends, I think he looks quite good. I'm going to call him Holly, so he joins some of the rest of the Red Dwarf crew, and I'll see you very soon in my next painting video. Oh yeah, by the way, check out paintslap.com and join the Patreon. Did I say paint slap? I meant paint slam, not paint slap. God.